Hey everyone, and welcome to the video. First off, I'd like to thank the Naraka team for giving me the opportunity to make this video, and for all the other amazing work they do with the game and community. It's truly the best community I've ever been a part of, and by far my favorite game to date. For this video, we're going to be doing an in-depth analysis of one of the games of Zay from the solos qualification rounds. Zay being VL's solo player representing the EU region at this year's world stage. Zay, coming up as a bit of an underdog in this tournament, has turned up and shown that he can perform in the highly competitive environment that is the NBWC. The only player from EU qualifying for finals out of the other few EU competitors. It's very exciting, especially for me, being an EU player and knowing Zay reasonably well. Well, we only have the one game to break down for today's video, sadly. So let's jump right into it. Here we go. As you know, I like to take a look at the landing zones and the decision making when it comes to choosing where to spawn, as it is hugely impactful on your looting path, your hunting path, and the overall tempo of the early game. Extremely important. But yeah, let's have a look here. So we have 2 gold zones just outside of mines, bit out of the way here, and considering that the map is not a dusk or night map, not really the best place to spawn, not the best landing zone, I would say. Preferably, I would have, if I were in this game, I would have liked for one of these outer areas to have been a gold zone, as opposed to something like this. But it is what it is. Looking here, though, 6 players landing on this one spot. There is no way that all 6 of those players are going to drop here. But let's see here. Yeah. Looks like Zay's looking to swap last minute. Yeah. So at the very last second, you can see 2 players from this spot moving from one to here and then one to out here, leaving 2 players here. This is definitely a pretty good spot to be landing, as not only do you have a decent amount, a little bit of loot here to grab. There's the ballista right here, and if you do end up not getting very much at all, you can always rotate down here or upwards this way, potentially trying to catch this player, but most likely heading downwards, as it's reasonably likely that somebody from wreckage or shipwreck might end up rotating upwards up this cliff and on top of this plateau. So you could end up catching somebody here, but what's likely is going to happen is Zay will loot up here and try and get some kind of fight with one of these 2 players, preferably being a third party, preventing more risk being taken. Yeah, let's take a look, see here. Yeah, so here we are, opting to play Tarka as well, not on a Firefly map. I'm not sure what game this is in the 6-game series of that day. But Tarka definitely excels more when played in on Firefly maps, as his ultimate is so important. It's so important. And looks like Zay's just gonna loot up quickly around here, try and find whatever he can before heading on over to those players. Does not seem to be finding all that much though, sadly. Skip ahead a little bit. So, not finding all that much else. He heads on over here and manages to pick himself up a cheeky kill here. Cheeky third-party kill with a blue focus. His F not giving him much. Overholding. Forcing the double tap dodge and catching him on it. but then immediately getting for lack of a better word, clapped. There's not all much he can do here when he doesn't have ultimate. Let's quickly take a look at this again. So he comes in here, securing this kill here, and then immediately goes into a follow-up, but then goes for the third on the blue focus. Quite frankly, I feel like even though it's reasonably likely that he can get it off, he's allowing the enemy player to potentially get the soul bloom. And in Immortal War, these soul blooms, they give you so much. 500 health, 500 shield, and a considerable amount of rage. If you allow somebody who's that low to pick that up, you're essentially losing a lot of value on your third party. So prioritizing the soul bloom over the kill is far more important. It should always be the priority, because even if you can potentially kill them, you're still allowing for that possibility that they get it, meaning that they can extend it. However, if you do prioritize the soul bloom, you are getting rid of any chance that they have of coming back into the fight, especially on such low HP. I mean, this guy is insanely low, but he opts to go for the 1-2-3 right here, and we all know that 1-2-3 is not true. You get 1-2, and then there's a gap. The player can always move, and as you can see, he hold dodges and instantly grabs the soul bloom. If Zay had gone for, he could have gone for the 2 after having done this, gone for the 2, the R&B, and then instantly mashed E. He could have instantly mashed E and picked up the soul bloom and then chased him down afterwards, but instead he goes for the greedy 1-2-3, trying to kill him as fast as possible. I mean, it's a gamble at the end of the day. There's gambles everywhere, and some pay off, but this one clearly did not. Another thing to consider is that Zay has 40% of his rage, because he hasn't fought anyone yet. He hasn't picked up any soul blooms, no fireflies, no nothing. However, this person has fought this other player for an unknown amount of time, gotten them extremely low, taken a considerable amount of damage themselves, meaning that they are highly likely to have a lot more ultimate charge. So he goes in, tries to catch the wake up of the enemy player with an R&B, and then instantly gets punished afterwards, after his R&B. Gets put into an uppercut combo with nunchucks. R&B, R&B. He does get the F off, but it doesn't come off in time to give him the reactivation. The enemy Tarka then just standing there holding. It's a good early cancel of the F. Going into an overhold here. Tarka has already used one dodge after having cancelled the 1-2-3 hold. Dodges again. And then, because it's a tap dodge, enemy Tarka knows that if he releases in that moment, then he's going to get hit by it and die, because he's already reasonably low. So he's then forced to tap dodge again, and then parry, because that's all he can do, unless he's willing to take the gamble that Zay is just not going to release, which is very risky. But he does go for the parry. And Zay, I think, counted the dodges here and knew that he would likely go for this parry. So up to this point, he's actually done reasonably well. The mistake of letting him get the soul bloom, and then the mistake of trying to catch instant wake up. But then he plays this well. He goes for this overhold. He understands the dynamic and the thought process of the enemy player. Good, definitely good. But right here, he needs to expect that the enemy player has ult. Knowing that he has 50% ult charge, enemy players already fought somebody else and picked up a Soul Bloom, he has to know. He has to be able to gauge that the enemy Tarka has ultimate. He goes in for this R&B using stamina, immediately goes for another R&B, even though he saw him jump, goes for a dodge, into a second dodge roll, avoiding the punch. But then right here, I think he expects the Tarka, or he expects his opponent to immediately dodge. But taking this risk is extremely... well, taking this risk is extremely risky. It sounds stupid to say, but you get what I mean. Taking this risk is not a good idea, because since he has no stamina, he's just used two chunks of his stamina to do a double tap dodge, or double dodge to avoid the punch, and then immediately tries to go in for an R&B. He does, however, get rubber banded. To be fair, he does get rubber banded on this blue focus attack, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Although, realistically, he could have immediately just turned around. If he'd just turned around, he would have been fine. I mean, he would have still been chased, but... well, it's the safer option. You have to respect Tarka ult. One thing that you always have to do is respect Tarka ult. Tarka, if you don't have a combo breaker, if you don't have your F ability, you don't have ultimate available, and Tarka's in ultimate in front of you, he is 95% likely to win the fight. And it's just, it is what it is, you know? You can turn around and run, but standing and fighting is extremely dangerous. As you can see here, gets hit by the blue focus, does get rubber banded again, and instantly finished off. So quite a few mistakes. I mean, it's also like there's mistakes and then there's guessing wrong, you know? Like, when people say well, I feel like a lot of people, when they hear the word mistake, they associate it with, like, they associate it negatively and think of it think that it insinuates that the player is bad. Zay is not a bad player. Zay is a good player. I fought him many times. I know him. And I mean, it's still a mistake though at the end of the day. And he could have played more optimally to mitigate risks and reduce the potential options of the enemy player. But it is what it is. He did still manage to secure that one kill though. Always good. Always to get a kill on the board. Always good to get a kill on the board. But yeah, let's see. Let's see where he goes from here. I'm pretty sure he's likely just going to end up looting for a while. But we'll see. And here we are. Just as I said, he did end up looting for a very long time. It took him a long time to find anything decent. So he sat here and waited for this Morris to spawn. This is a nice little trick that you can do with Tarka F1, is that if you are on a box and you drop down next to it and press F, you can still open the box and loot what's inside of it. So he does manage to get himself the purple armor and the purple bow at the cost of his F. Pretty worth it, I would say. But yeah. So both players have their ultimates forced. Goes for the R&B into punch. This Takeda uses his ultimate F a little bit late, I guess you could say. Zay is I'm just gonna let it play out and then I'll talk about it afterwards. Okay. So this is Jump RMB fever. It is a virus that everybody in the game is currently infected with, or every Tarka is currently infected with. I don't understand. As a Tarka main myself, I've played Tarka for over a year now, since the very beginning, and I've known that Jump RMB into Punch has existed for a very long time. And yes, it has value, but all of a sudden, everyone's playing Tarka again, having not seen Tarka around for a very long time, and people are doing this Jump RMB into Punch, and people think it has no counterplay. It does have some counterplay. It is not exactly easy to always counterplay, especially when you're extremely low health, but it is possible. Another thing, doing it over and over again is going to drain your stamina so unbelievably quickly, resulting in you not actually doing all that much damage in the end. You know, you don't get all that much out. So let's see here. So he pops the ultimate, goes for the initial punch, expecting the enemy Takeda to ult, or to have buffered his ult, which he did. Definitely a good read. Enemy Takeda instantly throws out a blade, oddly enough. I'm not sure why. I guess he just hadn't tracked Zay all that well. But now he's at a disadvantage. Zay now looks to push it. He gets this RMB. Why does he go for this punch? I mean, the Takeda has just used a blade, and there's at least another second and a half, maybe even 2 seconds before he has it up again. Wait, no, perhaps not. It's because I'm pausing it and starting it again. No, he does use it pretty early, actually. Fair enough. But still, it just come up. Going for this jump RMB. He does get the hit, doesn't get the stagger. Punch comes out short. Another thing is, you can go for these jump RMBs and then cancel the end of the animation and not use a second dodge to try and punch them, and see what they do. Because right here, he's going uphill, and when you're going uphill as Tarka and you're trying to punch people, your punch is cut short by quite a bit. It's the same with every dodge. The distance that you travel with your dodge is cut slightly shorter if you're going upwards. So he doesn't read the space as well as he could do, and tries to go for an RMB here. I think he tries to dodge, but because it's a whole dodge and because you're in Tarka roll, he doesn't get much iframe. So he gets hit by this regardless. Gets the jump, gets the dodge and the jump out, which is fine. Goes for a grapple back in. This punch was a fine attempt, realistically, because if he'd done it like a couple frames earlier, he would have caught him out of the Dragon's Lair. The F, cancel, also fine. Going for this one, actually good, worth doing. He has one more blade. The Takeda is just throwing out his blades willy-nilly at this point. He is not using them very well, is he? And doesn't really know how to use them. And it looks like he's panicking pretty hard. It's also reasonably likely that he's running out of time on his ultimate. But here, he gets this jump RMB. Doesn't get the punch though, because he hit him in the air and it took him time to get to the ground. But then right here, he's going for it again. Far too quickly. And then right here, he goes for an RMB and then cancels it with a shift. I'm not sure if this was because he anticipated that the Takeda would dodge or what, but... And then he cancels this one as well. I think he's trying to do a double shift into punch to just try and finish them off. But he's just cancelling his attacks and screwing himself over again. misreading space, getting caught on the jump up, misreading space again, and then this R&B into double shift only really hits because the Takeda well, he doesn't space correctly. He could have gone in the opposite direction instead of trying to go round the side, and this is the only real reason why he got hit by this. But yeah, I mean, Zay still won the fight, he still got the kill, but he could have played it better. I think if he'd tried to keep a mental timer on the blades and just count once one is used, 1, 2, 3, 4, he would have been able to do more damage instead of just trying to go for this jump R&B into double shift punch, wasting a considerable amount of stamina, not managing it correctly, and also trying to force it every single time, resulting in him mismanaging the space between him and his opponent and actually making the fight a lot closer than it needed to be. But yeah, it looks like he's just going to chill here, try and buy time for his ultimate to come back up. He had the 3-band zone pinged in case he needed to run over there and activate it if somebody came over to him, but it looks like he's fine for now. He's just gonna wait it out. So yeah, Zay runs around, rotates, stays mobile, and waits for the realm of Yang. And here we have enemy Tarka. Actually, I think the enemy Tarka forgot that Zay had used his F already, and then didn't choose to release his own F. Resulting in a missed opportunity. I don't understand why he would go for the 1, 2, 3. All right. Right here gets chunked. Procs this. Goes for the parry. Predicting the release. No release, into light attack, combo starter, forced to use his ultimate to mitigate most of the damage, and then goes for an R&B shift. Doesn't have enough stamina to do a double shift into punch. Goes for another R&B, swaps to his katana in his inventory, uses up another chunk of stamina again, knowing that the enemy Tarka hasn't used his F yet. He doesn't respect it, and actually punches and hits straight into the Tarka F. Now, I'm pretty sure this is Spider. Spider must have, I don't know, forgotten that Zay had used his F, because he could have literally instantly released his F. He also probably wasn't counting the dodges. And caught him here. So he misses an opportunity to, I would say he probably wouldn't kill him with a grapple combo. If he did the raw dragon into infinite, or if he did the light attack non-ult starter into ultimate after LMB, CRMB ult, aerial LMB shift cancel uppercut, he would have killed him. I don't know if Spider knows how to do that or if he does it actively or whatever, but yeah, he would have died. I think he just wasn't counting the dodges and also hadn't kept the timer on the F1. Zay trying to push Spider as hard as he can, because he knows that the enemy Tarka is just biding his time and trying to waste as much of Zay's ultimate charge as he can before he has to use his ultimate, or before he wants to use his. Zay managing to space this R&B, luckily, and actually gets the chunk of damage with the blue focus, expecting the double shift into punch. Presses his F. Reasonably safe, probably a good idea considering he was low on stamina already. And here, going for these holds is a good idea. So going for these holds is good, because as you run up and hold, one, you're not using a lot of stamina, you're trying to bait them into coming to you, as well as the fact that if you see them start healing or something along those lines, you can then immediately go and chase and prevent it. And if he tries to get close to you, you can always double shift into a punch, or triple shift, shift, punch. The third punch, the third shift being the punch. This punch was a bit early, but I think he may have been free even if he had delayed the punch. Goes for the jumping LMB, catches him. If he'd done an RMB here, he actually probably would have killed him, but going for this right here is so unbelievably dangerous as well. He gets the F. He gets this as well, and he doesn't go for a blue focus. One, if he'd gone for a blue focus, he would have killed him instantly. Two, he goes for a 1-2. Well, I don't understand. I feel like a lot of players seem to think that 1-2-3 is all of a sudden true now, and that there isn't a gap, because I've seen so many people doing this. They just mash the 1-2-3, expecting the person not to be able to do anything. But if you're playing against the Tarka's always going to double shift and punch you, which is exactly what happens. Why would you ever go for this 3? If you're going to do anything, you hold, predicting the double shift into punch, tap dodge with punish the punch, or you go for a jump LMB, or you go for a double jump into aerial R&B. I mean, you could, that's very risky, but still, predicting the double punch or the double shift into punch is something that you kind of have to do when you're playing against Tarkas, and it's not all that hard to predict when they're going to do them, realistically. But yeah, and just waits, bides his time, and looks to try and third party it at the opportune moment. Looking for his moment. Hold dodges the punch. Doesn't manage to get the kill onto Demo, as Spider quickly turns around and hits him with the musket. So he's now on the chase. He's had a huge advantage looking at Spider's health and the fact that Spider has used his ultimate already. Spider manages to find the armor swap. Not very much to play with though, especially considering that one punch from either the F or the ult punch from Zay will kill him because of the amount of health that he's actually on. He's trying to keep track of him, goes for the uppercut here, almost catches him, but dagger scale rush, fastest startup in the game on any scale rush. Manages to get away. But yeah, double shift into punch, avoiding the light attack, and there you have it. Zay actually managing to take it home. Take home the cake. How many kills did he have in the end? 3. It's decent. Not bad at all. Yeah, not too much to be said about this ending. He does, I mean, it's smart. He waits till these two players start fighting, bides his time, waits for the opportune moment. Doesn't get that kill on Demo, but still does manage to close it out. And he's in a good spot from the get-go. He almost loses him there, but he spots him again. But yeah. Zay. Taking it home for EU. And he did end up qualifying for finals, which is great. Great for your boys, Zay. But hey, that's about it. Why does it? I hate that. Let me sit on this page. There we go. But yeah, guys. Yeah, well played to Zay. Definitely some things that he could he could improve on. Well, if this game's if we're going off of this game. But being on the world stage, you know, there's a lot of nerves. You know, I'm pretty sure he got rubber banded a few times as well since he's playing on ping. He still played well. He still played smart. I think he played a little bit risky, a little bit aggressive at times, where he probably shouldn't have. But overall, still a solid performance. Not bad at all. And he did end up qualifying, and I'm excited to see how he performs in the finals. Hey, we shall see. But yeah, sadly we've only got the one game of Zay to look over for today's video. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. But yeah, I hope you all have a great day and a great night wherever you are. Hope you take care, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great one. Peace.